What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another very late night in the Brew Lab with me, Lone Fox, your brewmaster-in-chief. And tonight, in the Brew Lab, I'm coming at you with another episode of Brewing With. And today, we're going to be brewing with Mono Red. The reason why I'm doing this is because, I mean, look at my deck builder. These are all new. I've just spent the day down the rabbit hole. I've been building everything under the sun, and I feel like I haven't even scratched the surface of what's possible with this set. But I thought before we get into the little bit more complicated, weird, janky stuff that I still needs a bit of work, let's just play the basics, right? We've already gone through Mono Black. I've since upgraded the list. We'll do another video on that shortly. Mono White I need to have a look at tomorrow, but for today I thought Mono Red. I mean, those of you who've been playing on Arena the last couple of days since the new set arrived and rotation hit would know that Mono Red is finally, I think, like up there in the top tier decks. It's been a while coming. It already felt very close with the Automaton artifact build. I've excluded that one or omitted that one, but you could actually do like another two different brews here. There's one that I would say is kind of more like prowess, that runs the new Jaya, and another 2-drop which I'll get to in a moment. But I wanted to focus on these two strategies which are very similar but that are playing some key different cards. So without further ado, let's jump into tonight's brews. Number one is Mono Red Modified. Makes perfect sense to try this in mono colors because of the way the lands are these days. This just makes it really easy. So we've got obviously a full playset of Kumano faces Kakkazan, rapidly becoming the most played 1-drop in the format. We've also got the usual burn spells, Play with Fire, except this time Roll Eruption has been upgraded to Lightning Strike. There is an argument to be made for Cammy's Flare, which does the same amount of damage but potentially can go face with an additional 2, but because we don't always have a target for our removal, I'd just rather be able to just go face with 3 with Lightning Strike. And since we're struggling with a bit of space in the deck, we've just gone with the 2. Otherwise you could also run Cammy's Flare, but that's a discussion for another day. Then we've got, of the new cards, full playset of the Shivan Devastator. It of course comes into play modified most of the time, and there's so many cool little lines with this card. I've been doing things like playing Kumano turn 1, turn 2, play this for X as 1, comes into play as a 2/2. Now you've got a modified creature on board for when you start, bringing in your Thundering Raijus and things. Amazing. But you can also just play it for free off of the Kumano on the, for 1 mana, X is 0. And it'll still come into play as a 1/1, which helps with all of our modified synergies, but then you can hold up 1 mana for a Play with Fire, get rid of the opponent's creature, or something like that. Or you just top deck it in the late game when you've got a buttload of mana, have it come into play as a 5/5, a 6/6, and just flying haste to the face. Amazing. Just really fits the deck perfectly. There could be, some more budget-oriented gamers that I would recommend you just cut the Shivan Devastator and put in some Phoenix Chicks instead, which also come into play modified on the, when they come back from the graveyard. They're just these cool little recursive, cheap flyer guys, which I think, like I said, if you're struggling with a bit with the, this is mythic, then just go for the chick and you'll be just fine. Then onto the 2-drops. This is where there's something to be said about the Riveteers Requisitioner, which is the one I've settled on, but the alternatives were either maybe a couple Gorogoros, also maybe the Electrostatic Infantry. However, this does require you to cast instant sorceries for it to get modified, and we've only got Lightning Strike and Play with Fire in the deck, so I've decided to go without it and play the Riveteers Requisitioner, which I quite like to play on a Chapter 2 of Kumano. Comes to play as a 4/2 on turn 2, that when it dies makes a treasure token. But if you've got no better play on turn 3, you can also just blitz it in. So then it comes into play with haste, which is great with RDW, obviously. Swing in for 3 damage. When it dies, you get the treasure and you draw a card. So for the moment, kind of settling on Riveteers Requisitioner, but were we to try maybe cut the Fables, put in more burn spells, probably something like the Magic Missile, or wait, is that still in standard? No, it's not. So then probably the Slash, Moonrager Slash, goes nicely with the Reckless Stormseeker instead of the Fable. And then we would have a more spells-based deck, and then I would definitely put in the little dwarf guy over here, the Dwarf Wizard. Really cool card. But we've got another brew lined up with this is the front and center, so stay tuned for that. So this time going with the Requisitioner, really underplayed, and I think pretty sweet in this deck, where we're trying to get a little bit of card draw wherever we can. And just a hasty turn 3 play is great, or just a turn 2 on the Kumano, as I mentioned. Really nice. Then we've got, of course, the Bloodthirsty Adversary, which can help us go and grab those burn spells back out of the yard, and otherwise it's just a nice hasty 2-drop. Fable. We've seen this everywhere, except really in mono red. A couple of decks with the goblins were trying it out before rotation, but for now, like, it's been mostly in like Jund decks, and you want the discard to reanimate something on the chapter 2, and then you bring back your Titan and all sorts of janky shenanigans. But just in this clean mono red deck, this makes a little bit of sense actually, because copying Thundering Raiju with the reflection of Kiki-Jiki is obviously freaking amazing, and the filtering on chapter 2 is also great, and the ramp potentially from the goblin, as well as the an extra body on the battlefield is just fantastic. So going with the full place of the Fable, let's see how it performs. Of course, full playset of Reckless Stormseeker, just the best 3-drop for this position right now. There's nothing left, and it's obviously just amazing, giving our creatures that just enter the battlefield haste, although most of our creatures already have it. But also just that nighttime trample is great, as well as just being a fantastic attacker. And I absolutely still love this card. And of course, we top out with a full playset of the Thundering Raiju, which is the key difference between tonight's version 1 and version 2, which we'll get to in a moment. So, Thundering Raiju, best copy target for Reflection of Kiki-Jiki in the deck, but not the only one. We've also got the Bloodthirsty Adversary, which I quite like. You've previously played it, you've got the 5 mana, you've got 2 or 3 of these burn spells in the yard. The next turn you play a land, you got 6. You tap the land you just played to copy the Bloodthirsty Adversary. It enters the battlefield. You'll have the potentially the ability of doing that another 2 times, which is quite nice. And that's the deck. These mono colored decks these days, you just have basics and these to have access to. Really, there's no other lands you would play, so just running a couple of Sokenzan Crucibles for a couple of extra bodies if necessary, but otherwise a clean sheet. No more creature lands, no Den of the Bugbears. It's made a huge difference. So that's the deck. Mono Red Modified version 1. Let's jump into some games, and then we'll show you the version that runs the Defiler next. Ooh. That may be tomorrow's brew. I have been listening to your requests for some more budget-friendly options, especially this early in the rotation. Not everybody has all these wild cards to play with, so I've got a little budget brew lined up for you guys tomorrow. Sure. One, 2 with the Requisitioner. I like. The number of times that you see Kumano on turn 1 now is just staggering. It's become one of the most played cards. 3rd land acquired for our Stormseeker. That's a lot of damage for turn 2. We go for the Fable or for the Reckless? I think we go Reckless. It's a big hit. Nine damage. Casually. I hope you kill the Requisitioner because it's the biggest threat. We get the treasure. We bring in the Thundering Raiju. Alright. I think that's just gonna do it. Babushka. Oh, baby. You gotta love it. It's so fun. Of the decks that I've been tinkering with, of course, a lot of new things. I'm still trying to figure that out. So my performance in ranked hasn't been amazing, but mono red just never stops impressing me. In this, it's the deck that I've gotten the best win streaks and the most consistent performance out of, which is why I decided to shoot it tonight as well. Oh, the Weatherlight deck is looking really nice as well. Can fit into a few different homes, Rakdos or mono black. The best hand, but maybe the deck will listen and we'll get a nice 2-drop. The worst case, we've got removal. Oh well. Could be the Virtuoso. Shredder. I think we're blitzing. That's enough lands now, thank you. That's enough lands now, deck. It's enough to drive anybody insane. That is the flood of all floods. He had it. Disgusting. The vigilance here is just so good. I can just never get around this card. I don't know how they do it. There's really no point in even bothering. I'm just hoping to draw something. Otherwise we're dead. Just gonna go for the march. It's rather sickening. If he just has the bypass, it's game over. Jeez. This card is so broken, I don't know what to say anymore. Like, I lose to it every single time, and he's got the bypass. Unbelievable. Oh, every time. I feel like we've lost to this card on the channel endless times. It's like my pet peeve right now. I can never beat these Illuminator Virtuoso decks. They somehow always seem to have the perfect hand. And whenever I play it, not quite as perfect. But what can you say? On to the next one. We roll with the punches. We're gonna have to figure out a way to get around that card. Okay, we'll go for the turn 2 Shivan Devastator. Just apply maximum pressure here. And then wait for the Kumano to flip before we take out this guy. Hopefully he only gets 1+1/+1 counter next turn. Then we'll still have enough mana for the lightning strike. Cool. Hold up the play with fire in case he's got another Kami's flare. Sorry, Kami of Transience. These guys don't usually play Tamios. It's also okay. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, at least he goes for the card draw. Man, oh man. Okay. We can go face with the Devastator for 3. I think we got him. For 4. Even better. Unless he's got another touch of the Spirit Realm. Whew. 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 Shivan Devastator. Such a sweet card, man. Whew. I was worried there for a moment. We were bricking pretty badly, but that timely lightning strike against the life gain dude was perfect. And never underestimate how good it is having Kumano, the etchings of Kumano on the board when you have cheap removal spells for those recursive threats like the Cameo of Transience. Mwah. Exiled. Off you go. Okay, so last match with this one, and then we'll switch to the version 2. I'm okay with that. Okay. Oh, God.
This is my home, and I don't appreciate it when people touch. Haven't you ever heard of personal space? Don't overthink things.
You have got to be kidding me, man.
Enough with the mysteries. I've come and answered. Sacrifices must be made.
You have got to be kidding me. Mono black is too strong right now. I don't know what to do about it. It's driving me insane. It's so good. It's too good. That's the other deck, which is getting me lots of wins, is mono black. Like, it's so busted. Best planeswalkers, best removal, so much card draw. Oh! Okay, whoa. Okay, so we went... Okay. One more match. How are we doing for time? Okay, we're good. We play one more match with this one. Sorry. I know I said that last game, but... Okay. I knew I should have chucked a land. Looks to be one of these 5-color piles with domain. Real charming fellow. This is a good card. This is a very good card. It's a big dragon next turn. Disgusting human. Disgusting human. That gain 3 life is so good. There it comes. You've actually just got to be shitting me. Oh my goodness gracious me. Alright, 50-50 with the mono red. We were unable to get through that guy. That was super busted. We've got version 2 lined up for you guys, which is basically doing the exact same thing, except we've swapped out the Thundering Raiju for the Defiler of Instinct. It'll be interesting to get your opinion on this. There's also a few options here. We could play the Phoenix Chick instead of the Devastator, which is what I'm doing. We could also play this card. Where is he? Here, Hammer Hand. Really nice play line is to play your Defiler on turn 4, pay 2 life, enchanted with the Hammer Hand. It gains haste, +1/+1, and it makes it so a creature can't block this turn. You swing in for 5 with first strike, and you do a damage to something because you played a permanent. So altogether, pretty sweet. But for now, I'm just going to run it as it is because I wanted to showcase the Phoenix Chick, and Kumano is just too good to replace with Hammer Hand entirely. Maybe we could trim one each of and put in just a couple Hammer Hands. An argument can be made also to do something like this. Yeah, let's give that a try. And then I was also thinking of putting in like one Shivan Devastator. Just to really complete the deck. Late game top deck, Mr. Red guy, boom boom, as we saw in a few of those previous matches. Not a terrible card at all. Stardust. Na 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 stardust. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Ooh. Hoo hoo. Takes 4, but I mean, you'll take 7, but you'll gain the 5. So we've got 2 lands to cycle away. See if that's done it. Very nice. Still no Defiler. I won't stop until we get to do some Defiler shenanigans, so you can get to see him on the battlefield, decide whether it's worth your precious wildcards. Honestly, I'm still in favor of Thundering Raiju. It's just a better threat. It's aggressive, grows your creatures, has that reach. Maybe you could put in like a couple of Defilers or one Defiler in your mono red modified, but meh. No cool name, Joe. Let's just go for the damage. Filer has arrived. How did I guess? Off you go. Oh yes, I like it when you do that. Really is enough with the lands now though. Thank you, deck. Thank you very much. So close. 1 damage short. All we need is any red permanent. I think we're good. Back to daytime. Okay, we're good. Let's keep that. Oh god, red is good. Red is good. I used to hate it during Eldraine, but as my identity as a Magic player has slowly but surely shifted a bit more towards aggro the last year, red now is just fun af. All right, how are we doing for time? I think that's gonna have to be it for tonight's gameplay footage. Not terrible matches after all, just a couple of unfortunate defeats to the 5-color piles and things a little earlier, but all in all, 2 very, very valid decks. Of the 2, as I said, I think I would still lean towards the modified version with the full playset of the Devastator. This has been just super duper fun. I will of course be putting links to both of these decks, as well as copy pastable versions down in the video description for you guys to go copy and enjoy. But I'm going to call it a night. It is getting very late. I still need to edit and upload this thing. So I will see you all tomorrow with another fresh brew. And until then, this is Lone Fox from the BrewLab signing out. Peace, y'all.